dog. So that
Okay, here we are. Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to another adventure. Now, welcome to the circus, the tech circus, now on Monday night. Forgive the dog barking in the background because this is an unscripted show all the way live at all times. So I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Michael Pepper from Michael Pepper Tech Talk. Isn't that the show you're on? Michael Pepper? I don't know.
TikTok.
Whatever. He's on YouTube or something.
Just call it whatever you want.
He's the dude with
whatever.
the hair. And Chris, who remains
They already know where I'm from. They're here.
Mysterious Chris, the battery-powered man who seems to know everybody and everything, but no one knows who he quite is. Why don't you say hello, gentlemen?
Oh man.
Man.
Who do we
Good
got?
evening.
We got people here, or is everybody on?
Yeah.
Jason C, Tech for Your Needs. Kay Hodge, right on time. Appreciate you guys for showing up. And although she's not in chat, special happy birthday to my friend Trish. She's very beautiful, Trish, and a good friend of mine.
Happy birthday, Trish.
Happy birthday, Trish.
And we'll add that in there. We got a good show for you guys tonight. We're back to being structured and organized because I have time off. So that means bullet points and list. We're going to stick to it. But as always, we're welcoming your questions in the chat and your interaction. That's the only reason we're really here, because we talk to each other all the time and get quite annoying. So with that being said, Mr. Pepper, I want to talk about anything that you may or may not have purchased this week.
Sure. I will talk about this lovely journey of the MacBook Air versus the MacBook Pro and kind of how I got to. I'll make this brief. Basically, my 2013 MacBook Air was dying. The display was having issues where it would black out. Not because it was drinking too much alcohol or anything like that, but it just did. And I'm pretty sure there's a short in the wire somewhere, but long story short, I needed to get something to replace it. I'm pretty sure I got my $300 out of it over the last 5 years because I didn't buy it new. And I was looking and realized, well, the $999 base MacBook Air isn't worth it. That's an i3 dual-core processor. That would actually technically be a step down because I had an i5 dual-core before. And to get the i5 MacBook Air, it's $1,299, or that's the same price as the base MacBook Pro. Now, you get double the storage. You get the same RAM, but double the storage for that. But my consensus is 256 is good enough storage, and the benefits that I get from having the Pro line is there. I know there's a lot of arguments over, the touch bar and how annoying that can be, but I've already discovered some pretty cool things with that. Like there's an app called Better Touch Tool where you can customize it, and I can use it as a dock or like an app to switch between open apps and things like that. So basically, the thing was, which do I go with? They're both the same price, and the Pro just gives you slightly higher initial clock speeds too, where the Air is the 1.1 gigahertz or 1.4 gigahertz with the i5, and the Pro, I believe, is 1.6. And now the Air does have slightly faster RAM, but from all the comparisons I saw, that doesn't really make too much of a difference. So it was just kind of which one did I want, and for me,
how do you like the keyboard? By the way, I got to know. Is it world changing? Is it life changing?
It takes getting used to.
Really?
It takes some getting used to because the Air had a little bit more travel to the keys, very similar to like my I don't know which generation it is, the wired USB keyboard that I have that has the number pad. It was the has like one USB port on each end and everything.
The factory Apple one?
The factory Apple one, whichever generation that was or whatever.
Tech for Need says
has shorter travel than those. So
I thought he was saying what generation. I thought he was correcting you, and he's actually asking a question. So
he's like millennial.
It's the 8th. The only thing is, it's the 8th gen processor. But from what I figured out, I would have to go up to basically the it's $500 more to go to the 10th gen, base 10th gen of the MacBook Pro. And at that point, you might as well just jump up to the 16-inch, pay $400 more. You get double the RAM, you get the same storage, you get a faster processor.
Yeah, but
at that point, though, if you're looking 1700 versus or 1800 versus 2200, you get double the RAM, more storage, and you're going to an i7 processor, and you're getting, to me, that percentage bump is more, because that's,
if you're going to go 16
the shift
inch,
from
you should go all the
1200
way.
to 1800 is 50%, and it's not much of a change. But the 400 over, I mean, you're talking, was that 40%?
But let's
jump in
talk
price.
Let's
there
talk
is
functionally.
more
So
differences.
let's talk. Sorry to cut you off. I think I'm still delayed. So, and additional to being completely paled and blown out, I'm also going to interrupt you by like 1.3 seconds tonight. My whole point was, if you're going to go 16-inch, you might as well go all the way, because it's an iterative upgrade for most people. For us, because we create and we make videos, it's cool. But for, I think, the average user, or even a power user for the most part, it might be more beneficial to look at the higher end 13 than the jump to the 16. What do you think, Chris?
I think that until the 13 gets a graphics card, it's trash. Buy the Air or buy the big 16 if you're going to go. Or
Shots fired.
Yeah, I just, no offense, Michael.
Well,
and I've actually, for the record,
that was the other thing.
And there's let me just throw something out there real quick. My daily driver is actually a 13-inch Pro. So there's
daily driver. Oh God.
Go ahead. I gotta. What do I have? B7
daily driver.
Average consumer. We gotta.
Everybody's got to take a drink. Said, if you use any words that you see on Twitter more than 50 times a day, you got to take a drink. Go ahead.
Well, I do rock a MacBook Pro, the 13, as my daily friend. And I enjoy it. It's a great like business class laptop. But when I got it, they did not have the life-changing keyboard on the Air. And now I could very clearly get an up-spec Air for all the crap that I have on my 13 Pro. I think when you step up to that 16-inch Pro, I mean, people forget you're getting a big screen, you're getting crazier speakers, you're getting that great keyboard. You're also getting a different GPU setup. You're getting more ports automatically too. So there's a lot more in that. 4 versus 2. Yep.
Yeah. The only thing with the 16-inch,
that was the other.
I was just going to say real quick, and I'll let you jump. But the only thing with the 16-inch for me, I think it's a good buy if you do the fully loaded like the one Chris bought. That's how you do it, because you're just like, this is what I'm going to buy. I'm rocking this for like 5 years. I'm in. I think anything less than that is not worth it. But the only hesitation with the 16 for me is then you run into that portability, because we can always go external display. We can always go eGPU, right? So you can make 13-inch bigger. I could put a 40-inch on this, a 40-inch external on it, but I can't take that 16 and bring it down to the 13-inch. Right. So that's also something to consider. I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, that was one thing I forgot to mention there too, was you get the AMD Radeon Pro 5300M with the base of the 16-inch. And then you can pay $400 more to get the 5500M. But then, like you said, at that point, you might as well just max it out and go to the big boy. That's $3,300 and get 32 gigs of RAM.
That's going all the way.
So, well, and storage though, storage is one of the things too. It depends on what you're doing, like, because you can always buy external storage. Like that's what I did. Instead of paying $200 more to go from 256 to 512, I got 500 right here for $89. That's USB-C, and then I can use that, and it's not and with my iPad or my phones or anything that uses USB-C, it's not locked into the device. Now you're talking about differences in speed slightly.
No, I want to know how it tastes.
Too soon. We need a couple more drinks. Oh Jesus. There goes our advertising dollars.
But that was kind of my struggle. And the thing when I was looking with the Air was for what I was going to pay. And just the slight differences and things like that.
Like with cash, or like with your body, or is there more to the story? Yeah.
MoneyGram, Cash App. No, we beat up Cash App on Friday. I'll leave it alone.
And when you're talking about going all in, the one thing with the 16 though that has been interesting is right now, the base model, like I was talking about, is $21.99. That's normally $23.99, like through Best Buy and BH Photo Video and all those sites. So that can be a little bit, because now to go from that to the next level, instead of being $200, it's $400 jump. So it depends on what you're doing, what you need. You need to go to the i9 for the slightly, and this one actually, the boost clock on this is 3.9, and the boost clock on the i.7 and on the i7 is 3.8. So technically, when this boosts, it actually boosts faster than the next jump up. My only
qualms with that is, first of all, i9 heating issues. I've heard intermittent, depending on which one you get, are there. Some are saying it's gone. Some are saying it's still there. So I'm still hesitant on going full i9 on anything, whether it's PC or Mac. i7 is where your best bang for your buck is. And as far as before we totally move past it, pricing now with cell phones, like if we have an iPhone Pro, these are basically $1,200-$1,400, right? So the way I look at it now is, when you're looking at Apple, understanding that your phone, if you're an enthusiast, is going to be around $1,000 to $1,200-$1,300. That's probably where the laptop price should be expected for like a decent laptop, right? And then, so I don't think there's in the old days, like we always budget gaming. If you go to any of the gaming websites, it's like $600 build, $1,000 build, $2,000. I think for Mac, it's more like, it's really like $1,500, $2,500, $4,000. Those are like the three, depending on what you need it for. That's what you can expect to invest in your thing. I think when you get stuck at the 1,000, now, mind you, that's minus the Air, because you can get deals on Air now for $1,100. But really, it's $1,500, $2,500, or $4,000 is how that breaks down, depending on your needs.
And they did something kind of weird with this new line too, because the Pro technically has two separate lines if you look at it, because you have the 1,200 and the 1,400. Well, the $1,299 and the $1,499 versions are basically last year's with the upgraded keyboard and stuff. And then they have kind of the second tier that's the $1,799 and like $1,999 base price points. And that's really the 2020 upgrade as far as that goes. But
well, going with the 10th gen, what's the big advantage here? With 10th gen, you're not, like you alluded to earlier, you're not really getting the speed and performance bump. What you're getting is less power consumption. So you're getting a longer battery. The numbers are depending on your task, because we're all doing different things, and benchmarks are cool, but like it's everyday use. What you're doing is probably not very noticeable. Yeah. Whether it's rendering or doing Fortnite.
The test that I saw was like, if you rendered a 4K video, instead of it taking 15 minutes, it took like 13 minutes. So 2 minutes out of that really doesn't seem worth like 50% price increase for like a less than 10% performance increase at that point. And the other thing that some of the discussion I talked about was, because the 10th gen is the newest, they're having to pass that expense on to you in a way. That's why that was the discussion of, so go with like the 8th gen, because you're not getting the performance to value jump there. I mean, I would have probably paid, if I could have found any in stock, if one thing I would have changed is I would have gone with 16 gigs of RAM instead of 8.
Yeah, 8's a little limiting, and I've debated people on. There's a lot of emphasis on 32 gigs out there right now, and I kind of get it, but I don't think it's a necessity. When people say it's a necessity, not really. I mean, unless you're somebody that buys something every 5 years, like we discussed, then you go top shelf. But if you're somebody that upgrades every 2 years, which I think is more people than on the 5-year upgrade, then 16 is fine. 8 is like bare minimum.
Yeah. Well, I usually say I'm going the 5-year cycle, and then 2 years into my 5-year cycle, I bail out. I mean, I have owned MacBooks for a really, really long time, usually it's because I don't sell them. That's like the number one leading cause of me owning stuff for a long time, I've found. And yeah. Jason C saw some codes yesterday, by the way, just so you know.
Let me ask also, does anybody in chat have any of the Macs? Any of you guys? Anybody pick up even the 2018 or anything recently, like in the last couple of months you can speak on? Always interested to see like our experiences versus the chats.
Yeah, we got to bring you guys with us.
My other consideration on this too was
Goats.
I can get the like RX 580 eGPU right now, which if I was going to be doing editing, I can just always add that on for the instances I'm doing that. And that was about the same cost as what I was looking if I was going to bump up the RAM and bump up the storage and all this stuff. And like you said, then you have external bays in there as well. Like I can put external storage into these things and stuff like that. So my thing was go with what I needed, and I can always add the other stuff externally rather than paying Apple like the extra $200 for 256 gigs of storage. Is kind of expensive at that point. So, and the speakers have been really good too. That's been really noticeable for me.
They are. I would actually love to hear them on the new Pro because I have them on the 13-inch Pro. I have them on the 16-inch Pro, and I assume you opened it up and you said, "Tell me if your expression went something like this." Yeah, they're laptop speakers. Who cares? Shut up with the marketing already. And then 5 seconds later, you played something, and you're like, "Where did that come from? I don't understand." That came out of my Mac.
How many of us are like, "Dude, you got to check out the speakers on my laptop, bro"?
I mute. Mute is the first thing I do. Go away.
You're having a party tonight and you don't have a stereo? I got a
Hang
MacBook,
on.
bro.
Let me get my MacBook. I've got a $5,000 laptop we can use as a boom.
You guys want to do blinding lights challenge? I got a MacBook Pro. Hold on. What's going on right now?
I was actually pretty surprised though, with like my wife wanted to listen to a song and I went and put it up on YouTube, and I was actually pretty surprised with that it wasn't super tinny and like the bass that came out of there and some stuff like that, for considering the space that they have to go with to actually put the speakers is just about, what's that, half an inch on each side of the keyboard. That's the other thing. Versus on the 16-inch. But they did a pretty good job with it. And supposed to, like the previous generations of my old one, it was all on the bottom.
You like it on the bottom. We all know
but
that.
I think,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. That slipped out.
No, actually, I like these better on the top.
Speakers?
But
I usually put all the external enhancements on.
Let's not fall down the rabbit hole this early. We're early yet.
The only thing I did notice is if I hook it to an external display and I close the lid and I'm doing something like streaming, I noticed that the fan kicks on a lot faster because it won't dissipate the heat out through the keyboard because it doesn't want to ruin the display, so it pushes everything down through the fans. If I have it open, it doesn't do that as quickly.
And on the 13,
out through the keyboard.
maybe you know, Chris, the 13 has one fan and the 16 has two. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Is that what I saw? I know, because I know the Air, the big dig on it was heat dissipation, because it's actually, the fan has no connection to any kind of heat sink. But I know the Pros are connected, but I thought the 13 had one and the 16 had two.
I thought the 13 had one off to the center and off to the center on the right-hand side.
I could be wrong because,
but in like 5 seconds on the internet, I'll figure this out.
But
so I'm pretty sure that's correct, and partially because also they have to have a secondary fan for cooling the heat sink off from the dedicated graphics, instead of trying to pipe for cooling the processor and the graphics.
And so the Radeon 5500, correct? Is that what they're pumping on that now?
Yeah, I think I have the.
What do you got, Chris?
Yeah, on the one that
58?
Chris has, or the 5300 is the.
It's
lower.
53 and 55, I think, is what it is.
Yeah, I have the 50.
Yes.
I have the 8 gig 55 on mine.
Yep. So
you still can't play a game.
I play games with it. Hide and seek. That's like the number one game I play. I put it somewhere. And then I forget.
Yeah, hide the $3,000 computer for my wife. Hide and seek. I know this game.
Well, it was great when I bought it. I bought like an Air, and I was like, "Honey, this is what Apple's delivering for $1,000. Isn't this thing awesome?" She's like,
2,000 went to the credit card,
that's
1,000 came out of the
amazing.
checking.
No, that was my Air. And then I was like, I got to exchange it. I got to get one that's got more spec. So when I swapped it, I didn't, reiterate the pricing thing the second time. I was just like,
Of course not.
man, I love this thing.
Just buy her something. Be like, here's a screen protector. They threw it in for you.
That's what
I got a $3,000 computer. Here's a screen protector.
No, I let her.
It's pink.
A lot of people are going to hate me, especially
case.
French church. I let her get that Belkin screen protector at the Apple store when we get new iPhones. I do that thing. So that's like her reward for the year. We don't have to do anything else. Just that. It's like a $90 screen protector it's like $38 or something like that. I put on screen protectors. Great. I do all. It's like a lost, it's that lost dark art. So she wants to let the Apple store put on her screen protector. I'm okay with that. You can do that, but I get the MacBook Pro 16 and she gets the screen. That's a total line, but thankfully she knows that.
Actually, it was funny
for the rest of the viewers.
When I got stuff,
one
of the other things I grabbed were the AirPods Pro, and my wife goes, "So what'd you get me?" And I go, "You can have my old earbuds." So she gets those.
I hope they're full of wax too.
No, they're actually I clean them.
Here's some special beard wax. Actually, if they have enough wax on them, why is there wax on these earbuds? It protects against COVID.
I just tell people it's
put them in your ear.
It's only the finest Brazilian wax.
They're finding
so.
Wow.
So
all this. Yep. Go ahead.
Well, the only thing I was going to say.
So
wait, Michael's going to try to change topics, and I just want to say one thing that you'll come to appreciate since you now have a MacBook Pro, and I'm not sponsored, whatever, and I just like their stuff. But
liar.
Now, from our sponsor, the D brand, they make some really, really cool skins that if you ever wanted to like break something of value, you can try to put a skin on a MacBook and get all the edges just perfect. And then you'll smash something of value and then come back and you'll be able to do it successfully. But because the skins they're easy to put on once you get the hang of it and either quit or start doing meth. I'm not sure which one.
As long as you own a blow dryer and you have lots of energy drinks, you're good to
go. I put skins on phones and I always end up tearing it off. Like I'm pretty sure I got a discount I got a rebate from the one company and it didn't fit right, so they sent me a new one, and then they gave me a credit and I replaced it. And then I told them the same thing and they gave me another credit. And it's like, I just want my money back now because.
No, I can tell you, I have successfully done it. Like the D brand thing. Like this one is not particularly grippy, but I was going to say is.
I just want to get retweeted by the bot.
Yeah, the bot is awesome.
That D brand bot is straight savage. Like fire savage.
Like, I just want to get the.
That's really sharp.
This is their carbon fiber, gray carbon fiber. Very grippy. It's like way grippier than the cold aluminum thing. You'll want this. I mean, you watching this in replay or you, Michael. But
have you seen the retro ones?
Like from
that make it
last
look
year's
like it makes it look like
the retro ones have
old like Apple IIe.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It has the old pattern of like it's got the texture and it's got like the tan texture, and then it has there's like a short little strips in that come from the side, because on the Apple IIe it had the colored, every other line was colored. Yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
And it's pretty sweet looking. The one thing I have noticed that I wish they would bring back is the Apple logo that doesn't light up anymore. But I guess it's because they made the displays thinner, or the
hardware, the
circuitry lid is thinner.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
And I found it, so they don't have space for it.
I see you.
Oh, it's Slick Wraps, so it's not D brand. It's
Wait, did you just endorse the wrong company?
Oh no, I'm liking D brand. Michael, Mr. Pepper is talking about the Apple Retro, which it looks like is only on Slick Wraps.
So that's the thing. So I've used D brand forever, for like I think since 2016 at least, and so I've used D brand for a lot, and I see that that's like not the cool thing. The cool thing is Slick Wraps, but I like D brand. So unless Slick Wraps wants to send me some stuff, then we can change that.
It
The
wasn't
only
Slick
thing
Wrap?
I will say, well, Slick
I'm not
Wrap
saying anything
is they're
negative.
the
I'm
ones
just saying
that-
with D-Brand, I've been happy.
They're the ones that never fit any of my devices correctly all the way. Like the cutouts weren't aligned and things like that.
With
Except
D-Brand or
for-
Slick?
And apparently that's been a
Yeah, can
Slick
you
Wraps.
clarify?
Apparently
Okay.
that's been a complaint, except for their iPads and their MacBooks. Apparently they figured that out. It's just the phones; they don't know what they're doing.
Gotcha.
But-
Okay. Well, it's time to shift gears.
I figured, yeah, we'll shift on to something that we kind of started talking about last week, and I wanted to touch on a little bit here briefly.
Briefly, with
If
Michael
we
Pepper.
can, because we just took 25 minutes discussing one topic, basically.
Oh, don't worry. I've already. The topic Nazis in the house. Don't worry about it. You're good.
So, my question, and I know Chris, we kind of touched on this a little bit, but as far as like where you can and can't fly drones, so part of that depends though on whether you're licensed or not, right?
Yes.
Correct. Correct.
As
The
well.
FAA actually has an endorsement now for drones. I have a lot of friends that have it or are in
Where-
the process of getting it, so I don't have it.
How do you go about doing that? Like go to like
It's
a
literally
local like
it's a
flight
course.
training facility, or
Yeah, it's
There-
literally a course. There's a test involved. You have to study. So I've been flying since I was like 12. I'm not a pilot, but just went to ground school, never got
But you're an
my license.
operator.
I play one on TV.
his
No,
arms must be really sore.
So there's classes of airspace, right? So there's like class C by airports. And so basically by the type of airspace there's different rules and there's different people you talk to. So when planes are flying around, they're not just connected to the tower at the airport itself. There's control stations like Southern California and different places has people that hand you off on the radio and they track your flights, et cetera, et cetera. So with drones, what they do is for the licensing, from my understanding, I don't have the license, but from the people I've spoken with is they want to make sure you understand the differences in those airspaces. They want you to understand the difference of populated areas where you can fly. And typically anything federal, state funded stuff like that is a no fly without permission and permits and stuff like that. Like here in Las Vegas, you cannot fly. Like if you guys see television or YouTube, and you see a drone over the strip itself, it's usually a government drone footage. It's not allowed. That is a no-fly, no-go zone, even for licensed operators. So that, depending on where you live, you probably have an area. Even if you're in Nebraska, there's probably some prominent area in your neighborhood, or maybe it's 50 miles from you. But there's going to be places you cannot just say, I'm going to go up and go. That's part of that. But it is an actual license, an endorsement that has to be acquired now to fly basically anywhere that's not just restricted, if that makes sense. There's some places you're just not.
Do you have to have like a certain number of hours for training then? Like you fly with somebody for a certain number of hours, like you would, I don't know, if you were getting your like a pilot's license for a helicopter or a small plane, things like that?
Oh,
I don't believe so.
I don't think
There's-
I think it's more about education. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I pulled it up right here. So to get an FAA, that's Federal Aviation Administration drone license, you have to be at least 16 years old to operate. You have to pass the aeronautical knowledge test. You have to apply for and obtain a remote pilot certificate and pass a background check. So it's a test and a background check, essentially. So that when you fly down to Vegas Strip or somewhere and you get slapped with a huge fine and possibly criminal charges, they could say, you knew better. That's what it comes down to, is liability. To say, we know the name of every person that's flying, and if they do bad, we can bad.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
And
Because there's a lot of people that can fly drones. Like I flew model airplanes forever. I've never flown like some of these DJI drones are insane. Like I got a buddy here in Vegas. I'm not going to plug his channel here. Maybe I'll throw it up in the description later. But he's a pretty good drone operator. He's been doing it for a couple of years. And there's some of these new drones, they will literally take you out. He almost got his head taken off by one.
and he's got that on video too on his channel.
Yes.
Because
we'll throw in the description. Anybody wants to see a really good, real dude, and he knows what he's doing, but he got one of the new Fast and Furious DJI drones. and he literally put up the video, and it almost took him out. And he knows what he's doing. Those things are no joke, not a toy, not a RC hobby for your kid. It's the real deal.
Yeah, not with first person, the FPV style. And there's a couple different kinds of drones, but for most of them that you see, they're sort of cinematography drones. The smaller DJI stuff are, and they're also known as UASs, so unmanned aerial systems. So they are carrying camera, which is their payload, and they fly around and take pictures of stuff. But then you've got the smaller ones that are like first person video, and
it's important. No, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I mean, I did, but I'll pretend to be nice.
But you did. I'll let you be successful. Go ahead.
All I was going to say, I just wanted to, privacy has come up a lot. So just real quick touch on that. There was a case that I saw on came across the newswire. Dude shot down a neighbor's drone, felony. So just because somebody's flying a drone over your house, there's expectation of privacy in your home, and you are not allowed to use means to gain access to your yard. However, your property, and I'm sure depending on where you live, some property lines, your property actually stops a foot under where you bought. Some of you have water rights, some of you have well rights, and literally depending on your jurisdiction, there's aerial rights. And for most people, it's like 50 to 100 feet over your house. Anything over that, like the helicopter that flies over, people are like, oh, police helicopter. He can sit there because he's not using advanced means or intrusive means to gain access to your area. So privacy is kind of a fluid thing right now, not just in technology, but
it's weird
in the world. Yeah, it's really a weird thing.
This was a case on a TV show, and it made me curious. So I went and looked into it, to see how realistic like their determination was, because that was the instance. Like the guy was trying to sue because there was a neighborhood watch lady who was using a drone to patrol, because rather than go out and she could just fly over and around. Well, he didn't like it, and he claimed that it was a violation of privacy, and that he was a psychiatrist, and that it was a violation of like patient's rights. And it's like, but do you make them pull in your garage and get out inside, or do you make them walk up from the street? And he's like, I make them walk up from the street. The judge goes, you owe him $90,000. Goodbye. Because that's like, that was the thing, was like, you owe them this money. That's how much they paid for the drone. You just admitted that you aren't even worried about their privacy if you're making them walk up like that. If you were, they'd pull into your garage,
expectation of privacy.
They'd get out, and there's no. And I know from photographic purposes, anything that can be reasonably seen by a neighbor or things like that, you can photograph. So that's why you're not using those that were like bathing naked in their backyards, and the paparazzi was photographing them. They couldn't get in trouble because technically you could be out as a bird watcher. And it was, he had a ridiculous like 700 millimeter lens, but they're like, it wasn't blocked by a fence. He wasn't up like in the air 50 feet up a ladder or doing some weird things. If it can be seen, technically, if you could climb up on your roof.
Yeah, it requires, I don't remember the verbiage, and I took 2 years of criminal justice, so it was kind of like rights and stuff like that. So I'm not like a lawyer, but I do know that there's very specific verbiage about the mechanical advantage that's required to count as being intrusive. You know what I'm saying? So it literally matters the mechanism, and then it's up to your lawyer to argue whether it meets that verbiage or not. And that's why we all pay lawyers.
Well, what's weird with that though is a police officer cannot stand on like the hood or the back of a car or a ladder to see something to determine if they're going to go in property, but you could stand on your car and photograph. So that's like the difference in privacy between.
Well, because now you're talking about the Fourth Amendment.
Photographic.
The Fourth Amendment is more powerful than your even pen. No, I was just saying, because now you're talking about the Fourth Amendment. There's fruit of a poison tree doctrine, which is, again, going back to school. Fruit of a poison tree doctrine means that if the investigation started illegally or by using an advantage that would not ordinarily be discernible, then the entire case gets thrown out. And that's how that works. But we're getting way deeper off of drones right now.
But that is a good thing to cover, is talk about the privacy concerns, and like you're protected as long as you're not doing some creepy stuff and invading,
Just be a good person. How
flying it
about
into
that?
people's houses and stuff.
Can we be
Yeah,
nice people and good neighbors? Can we do that?
And that's
Just an idea.
General PSA on that stuff too. Like I do have, it's really strange. I have the opposite people in the world. Like I don't have people that are terrified. I do have an unmanned aerial system that has been shot at by a pellet gun. Thankfully it's a pellet gun, and this is years ago, and it's high in the and it's just, don't waste your time. It just tells me that you're over there, and now I should fly over there more, but a little higher. Don't do that. But now the problem is not now. This is going back a couple of years. I've been flying for about 5 years.
Maybe check your statute of limitations before you admit anything. Before you go any further.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I was 14. So, but we just got electricity in the cabin, and I got a new DJI.
Exactly.
But ironically, the few conversations, most people are like, yeah, when I got one, my neighbor's this, my neighbor's that, and they all hate me. My neighbors came over and were like, hey, can you go fly over here? Can you go fly over here? Can you, and it's just like, no, I'm not going to do that, but of course, sure as anything, I brought it over, showed some friends, and took it to a friend's house. And then of course you'd be so surprised at the amount of people that are, all of a sudden like, hey, you've got this, that's really neat. Oh man, I'm really interested in seeing it. That's really an amazing device. Can you go fly over there and take pictures of something for me? It's just like, oh wait, I thought you just wanted to see the neat technology.
So moving along, that was a good discussion. Let's talk about Android tablets. Android tablets. So specifically these Fire tablets, right? People are talking about, are they selling? They are. So I don't know anybody that follows me on Twitter, probably just you two. But I bought 2 of these Amazon Fire tablets. And for those of you that don't know, the Amazon Fire tablet is not just a tablet. It's basically, if we're talking frankly, it's an advertising tablet that they sell you, that you pay money for to be advertised to. Now, the benefit is it's still a tablet. It runs an Android-based operating system. So if you sidestep the ads a little bit, clean it up, sideload some stuff, it's just an Android tablet. It's not top shelf. It's 720p. It's really, stuff like that. But they are selling. What do you guys think about as far as throwaways? I have kids. I paid $40 each. Is this something that should interest people, or should they just get the iPad mini? I mean, if we're using a fair cost analysis here, is there anything even that competes with it?
I think Amazon, it's kind of strange. In this case here, I think you've got a couple different choices. You have like Amazon selling these cheap $50, name brand. They're 40. Not name brand, but they're 40. 30. It's at Best Buy, it's $49.99 today. So
rip off. Don't buy it at $50. Buy it at 40. No,
well, I don't want to tell you the Fire 7s. I think it was woot.com. They had two for $50 today, which was
probably refurbed or open box, which I would never do. So let me give a PSA. We're in the mood to do PSAs today, right? So here's a PSA for all my tech friends. No, I'm not talking about a prostate test. I'm talking about public service announcement. So where's that PAS? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV. So anybody watching, if you're going to buy something cheap and buy the cheapest thing because you want it to get you by, or you want it to be disposable, you don't really care, do not ever buy the refurbished or open box cheap one. Buy the cheap one, but it's new. So when it takes a crap, you're the one that returns it and somebody else gets stuck with it. Because if you're already going lowball, anything that's refurbed or used, it's going to have more issues than it's even worth. It's basically worthless. So if you're going to go cheap, go all the way cheap, but go new cheap. That's your message from Mike today.
That's a good, go new cheap. I'm actually, something amazing. They were $19.99. The Fire 7, 7th generation Wi-Fi. I just found the deal here. They're now sold out, of course. And they had a limit of 3 per customer, but they were actually new. It looks like they were new. They were just the 7th generation Fire 7 tablet.
I'll tell you this: I paid more for the cases.
Yes, that's
I paid
that is
20
exactly the
bucks
scam
for each case, and I bought the cheapest Amazon foam case that I knew would work, and I paid 20 bucks for the damn case and 40 bucks for the tablet each. Still, I mean, my son tried to throw his off the top balcony the first day. It lived. They're surprisingly durable. But you know what's funny? He could throw it from 20 feet up and it survives. But probably if I hit the back button 3 times in a row, it'd break. It's one of those things where you don't know. It's complete roulette what kind of use you're going to get out of that product. But for a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old like I have, awesome.
Yeah, that's 10 iPads.
Because they were throwing my iPad Pro, and I almost had to have an adoption take place. So we'll just leave that.
Well, it's not a joke, or it's not whatever. It's not an accident. It's not a joke. It's not an accident that the cases cost that much, because the cases, people shopping at Amazon want that attachment sale. They want that value. Mm-hmm. Oh, I just want to hit buy. Or we're Best Buy.
Other people like you bought this combination.
Oh, I like that. I like that color. Click, and off it goes.
And stars. I can't not buy that.
Yeah, and now you're spending $20 on a tablet and $40 on a case.
Amazon is millennial QVC. If you guys haven't freaking figured this out by now,
oh, it's smart.
Just way more convenient than QVC ever was.
And then you got people like me in the background helping them connect the dots between things, and people asking me questions on my reviews and going, "Hey,
same."
What's this? You need
it's
this.
The same psychology as QVC was, people, as I'm sure you're aware of.
You buy, one tablet, you buy 2 tablets, you get one for your son and one for your daughter. And so then you get like a pink case for your daughter and a blue case for your son or something. So they don't get the green. Switched,
yep.
Or that's whatever. Right. So that you don't get them switched up and they have their own color and, be like, Daddy, Sissy's using mine.
They want to be able to fight over colors. They're like little gangs. They got instead of Crips and Bloods, they got daughter and son. And they put down their claim and they jump each other in. So it's pretty legit as a gang.
I wish I had sound effects. So when you said certain things, I could be like, demonetized.
So what is, you mean from our negative money that we're already spending to do this?
People are sending me money.
We're spending money to entertain them, or hopefully at least entertain the masses. So what's this 8-inch thing going on?
Oh, well, hey, that was a private message, Mike. You're not.
I want to know all about the 8-inch.
Well,
Chris said I got the intel on the 8-inch, so let's get it. And for 8-inch, I will drink.
Just a tip. So there's actually 8 Plus is the note that I sent you, but there's a new tablet that is coming out on June 3rd by Amazon, and it's $90, but it's an 8-inch HD tablet, starts at 32 gig. But the thing that I'm impressed by is it's the smaller size tablet and it has USB-C now, which, I think you guys have heard me say this, and probably some of the people watching the show have heard me say this. I'm banning and abolishing all things.
Cancel micro USB.
That's right. Ban that. It's horrible. The world doesn't need it. Get rid of it.
I got to ask a question real quick.
It never hurt me growing up.
Related to our last topic, real quick. So the man, Jake Levesque, that's one of my buddies here. He just said, you still on in the chat here. He is a licensed drone operator. He's pretty much the pro pimp on that stuff. Do you guys have any other questions for the actual guy in chat or my co-host? Just since he's here, I just wanted to shout him out real quick. He came on.
Michael Pepper, you have questions that need answering. Or not. Okay, what? I'll throw. Okay, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what is
the we don't have to. I just noticed he signed off, so I'm like, that's actually the guy that knows.
What would be the minimum weight that I should look for a drone if I'm flying it outside?
That's you, Jake.
Is there a minimum size and weight requirement that I should be looking for? Obviously, I know there's things like wind consideration and things like that, but just curious.
I should have just brought him on. Can you come on, Jake? Do a full.
Yeah, that would be my next question.
Whatever you're doing right now. Do you just?
He's also a firefighter here in Vegas, so he's another dude.
Oh, is that the guy who's channel you sent me to?
Yep, that's him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I subscribed.
He is. We're trying to pumping. If he doesn't answer it, continue talking about the tablet, the 8-inch, until he responds. But I just wanted to make it known he's here. So,
so yeah, I mean, and actually, what Tech Love and Mama says is kind of the point I was going to get to eventually. She says their tablets are pretty decent for how much they are, and you can sideload Google services if you wanted. I think that's the sort of advantage. Like if you were in Walmart and you saw a $50, Android tablet, you'd probably bypass it, but it has that Amazon, app infrastructure, that it's got Kindle services, that it's got all that good stuff. So that is a part of the value proposition that they're tying away. It's great for Amazon because they attach you to more of their services, kind of like what Apple's trying to do, except Amazon literally has a thing that you can spend money and anything you find on that little device then shows up at your door, which is not, it's not accidental that any of that stuff happens. But because those things are named and branded by Amazon, I think a lot of people have more trust in them. And I also feel like I've never bought a lot of those $50 tablets from Walmart or Target. It's like the Black Friday specials is the only time you can find that stuff unless you're shopping for one of the Fires, the Amazon Fires. So I think
go ahead. Sorry, I'm on a delay. I don't know what's going on. Go ahead.
It's okay. I'm curious to see your angle.
No, I'm really sorry. I really apologize to everybody. I'm on a new setup today. So I'm like a second, just enough to be an a-hole about it. I was just going to say, don't buy the children's tablets. So they have children's editions. Yeah. And so they'll take basically the Amazon Fire 7 that we're talking about, that's usually $30 to $50, and sell it for 120 because it comes with the case. Yeah, but it's the same damn thing with the YouTube Kids loaded on it, which you can. Do not buy child anything. Just don't do it.
Yeah. Full-size adult bike, full-size firearms, no children's size anything.
You buy them Depends. You don't even get them baby diapers. No.
They move right ahead. I mean, they'll learn real fast. You cut that shit out. Literally.
It makes me think though, like I've had the
adult
Barnes and Noble when they had their tablets, and that's exactly what I did. Is I sideloaded Google Play services and all that stuff onto, and it was really easy because you just installed a program on your computer, and it modified a USB key to what you needed, and then you just plugged that. Well, at the time, that's what I did. Is I used to use an adapter, plugged it into the tablet, start it up, and when it starts up, it loads off from that drive and does everything you need to do. And then when it was done, you just unplug it. It was super easy, and I actually provided so much more. Of course, I had to undo it when I sent the Nook back to them because there was issues even before I had done that. So I just was like, I'm going to experiment with this, and then I'll wipe it and bring it back to normal, which was easy to do because you could just reset it and it cleared it. That was the nice thing because it created like a separate partition and stuff. So that would be my question. If you sideload the stuff onto this and then you have an issue, can you just reset it and have it wipe it, or do you have to go in and reinstall the official stuff?
That's a good question. I have to defer to Mike Tech 702, who's down here in the chat to see
some guy in the chat.
Well, he was asking about if you sideload it, do you have to clean it up to get things back? I know for the Nook, when I did it on the Nook, it was just an SD card.
So yeah, I just did this. So I did the lazy way. I left the Amazon stuff on. I didn't actually put in like full wipe. I just sideloaded. So when you sideload, you need three things. You need you basically got to set up the services, Google services. You got to set up the App Store, and you got to set up the. I'm sorry, I'm getting inappropriate messages in the private chat, so that's why he's laughing. He's trying to break me. But basically, when you sideload, you need to unlock it, take it from unknown sources. You got to put in the Google services. You got to put in the Play Store. So when you sideload it, it basically just shows up like an app. So now when you go on any of these guys, when you go on any of the Fire tablets of my, I'm just gonna leave. No. Whenever you go on the tablets now, it just shows there's a Google Play Store like you would see on most Android phones. And then, of course, the applications that I've installed since then. It doesn't show the behind the scenes stuff. And it takes nothing technical, but it did not take anything away from their stock ad machine that the Fire tablet essentially is.
And just to be clear, those reading the chat, after the timestamp is my response, just so you know. You guys can figure out who messaged. I wanted to share the message with our people because I thought
I gotta close our private chat because I can't conduct business like this. Trying to keep it.
Sorry.
So
well, you were in the middle of typing and then I interrupted you, so you had to stop.
So basically, you just added it on. You didn't change anything.
It's an amendment.
Just added in what you needed to, so you could just clear it off.
No different than a Fire Stick when you put something on, something like that. It's an app, and as long as you enable the services, because Google probably similar to what you had to deal with your Huawei, right?
Yeah.
As long as you put the groundwork in there, then the application can be installed, the APK with no issue. And it can, more importantly, it can call using API, can call and get fresh information, because that's the big thing. You can put an app, any Android app can be installed on any Android device, but it cannot call information appropriately unless it's configured for the API to work. So that's why you got to have services attached to it. Moving along. Let's talk about a phone again.
Yeah, we're going to talk about, well, more like a company than just a phone, but
and it's
the
not
phone
just
side of the company.
Not just limited to TCL, but they're probably the
not
front
just
runner.
limited to them. Yeah,
they are the market disruptor at the moment. But go ahead, Michael.
There's kind of more than just this basic can new smartphone companies survive. I think it's more of the idea of like with the fact that kind of right now, if you're in the US, all you're hearing is Apple and Samsung, and now LG's kind of back in it again. The V60 has been selling pretty well, or I guess companies are giving it away pretty well, which they couldn't even do with like the LG G8. I remember they couldn't even give that thing away barely, and like the V40 and stuff like that.
Wait,
so my thing is,
are you saying the LG is not on the same level as Samsung? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. That's just me. Just me.
I knew you would like that.
I'm here being Kermit.
I knew you would like that. I knew you would take that and run with it, Mike. I knew it.
Go on. You're a very knowledgeable person. So go ahead.
My thing is TCL, what they're doing that's a little bit different is they're not trying to come in and be like, oh, we're going to introduce something with like a new app store or anything, or like we're going to try to introduce something with our software. They're coming in and they're providing hardware, but they're using very similar basic software, very similar to like Google with their Pixel, with just a few added things like the button that's on the side where you can program it to trigger a specific app or like launch Google Assistant or certain things.
The Pixel device you're talking about, is that stock Android or is that like some custom ROM?
Well, technically, Google's is stock.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, it's not like Samsung's One UI. I know what you're doing. Or
enjoying my beverage. I have questions.
Or OnePlus's Oxygen OS, or the different. It's fairly simplified version, and I think that's also why they're able to offer something that runs fairly smooth for even the $250.
Do we know? I really don't know. I looked at the hardware of the TCLs. Do you guys know what what skin they're running or what they're calling it?
I think it's just TCL. Last I knew, it was just TCL UI was there.
Oh, okay. I honestly didn't know. I hadn't heard.
It's like LG just has LG UI, and Pixel kind of has Pixel experience, and
because Oxygen looks a lot like, and it's barely got any differences. I mean, they added just little convenience issues. That's about it that I can tell.
Yeah, it's actually funny. I did not know what the name of the TCL UI. I just, in all the reviews and everything I read about it, because they didn't send one to me, unfortunately, which I don't understand why. But they it's just referred to as very lightweight. They must think I'm Canadian or something. But
if you were Canadian, you would get one. Every Canadian on YouTube got a TCL. I don't think any of them got omitted.
That's the joke.
If you're in Canada and you have a YouTube channel,
you might have been thinking about getting a YouTube channel, and they just sent you. Off you get. Here, you got one now because you've got to make a review.
You have 76 subs. You're in.
Embargo lifts on the 19th. Hit it.
But then that was the other thing. Like, people got all these devices, and then they sent out their videos, and it was like nobody watched. And
there's 600 videos, and they all dropped the same day.
There's 600 videos, and they got to combine like
250 $250 handsets probably have a cost value of like $90. They sent out 6,000.
Yeah. It was they really should have. There's
the United States stimulus now as everybody gets a TCL.
Dude, I am not. So it is. I got to tell you this TCL story that I got, and it's not even a joke or a horrible build up to a lousy, dry humor thing. I was out looking at. I wanted to get a larger TV because they say size matters, and I found a 50-inch that I wanted to replace. I have a 43-inch. It's not so great. It's got some weird phasing issues, so I wanted to upgrade it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get a TCL 50-inch because I've been influenced by all these people, not because they're like $250 or anything, but because I've been influenced. So, all right, cool. I'm going to go out and buy one. I was in like Costco, and there's no joke pallet fulls and stacks and all that. And I was like, this is stupid. I don't need this. And then I farted around on it, went back up like this was last weekend. And now, the weekend before last. And I'm like, and of course, all the stimulus stuff really started hitting, and people realized like what they got. Went up there this weekend, like the display models sold, everything's gone. I was like, I'll go over to the other big box wholesale club. Nothing. Other big box, nothing. They're like, dude, TVs are vacuumed out. Went to Walmart. There's no TVs at Walmart. Like any TVs. Like nothing at all. So it's just kind of comical. Like I'm like, this will be a good time to check out the TCL panels. Every time I look up in the screen in the store, the screens look pretty good and all this stuff. It's the Wild West for TVs right now.
I got the 43-inch. It's the Generation 5. So it's the 5S25 model, I think it's called. And it's the 43-inch 4K HDR model. It's got like the 120 hertz smoothing or whatever you want to call it feature. It's got the Roku built in and stuff, and it's been really nice. When you have HDR content playing and you go into the settings, then it pops up the settings for it. So it's not like they're there when you're just watching normal content and in the way and you have to scroll past them. And their menu system is pretty good. It's set up really fast. You can use your phone to control it. One of the features I think is neat is if you have something playing on the TV, you can plug headphones into, you'd have to use an adapter or whatever, but you can have headphones plugged into your phone and the audio will pipe through the app on your phone. So like if you were sitting there at night and you don't want to bother your wife or whatever, you can just, that's kind of a neat feature. And things load really fast. Like
I think what we really want to get to the bottom of is, so market disruptor works, right? So anybody that has business school or any learnings understand what a loss leader is, right? I think that's what this 249 device is. I think it's their loss leader. It's to drive people, and basically they push or lose money on it. And that's what it is, because they want to sell the $499 phone. Now, here's the question. I think they will sell a lot of $250 phones because they're going to put it in prepaid places. They're going to put it in places that aren't just carrier oriented. You're going to see them on Amazon. You're going to see them in Best Buy. You're going to see them prepaid. You're going to see them
Walmart. They said Walmart's going to be a carrier.
You're going to see them everywhere. So I think they will sell a crap ton of them. Now the question is, will that convert to sales for the profitable part of the company? And part of me wonders, my opinion, I don't think they're going to sell a lot of the 500. It's still a good value. I'm not going to say it's not. It's a great value. But even let's use the Pixel 4a coming out for $350. It will probably destroy that $500 TCL phone in every way besides 5G. And with 5G not being a requirement yet, I don't see those sales converting. Not this year. Now, if they get better and they come out with a better camera and blah blah blah, they're whetting appetite. What I see them doing now, realistically, the benefit of releasing these phone lines are bringing people to their television lines, because TCL has replaced Vizio as the more affordable option. Vizio priced up like OnePlus priced up.
Yeah.
So OnePlus, TCL is taking the place of OnePlus in phones, and they're taking the place of Vizio and televisions. In my opinion, that's the way I see it. What do you guys think?
Good.
Well, what I think they're going to do is, and I've been pitching this to people, I've dropped this in people's chats when they've been talking about this on other live streams and things like that, and been talking to the different people, and everybody's kind of agreed with this so far, is what we'll see is Black Friday, TCL will do a package deal. You buy a TV and you get a TCL phone. And so what they'll do is they'll make it like $100 more than if you just bought the TV. But the trick about that is all these companies do, and this is actually something kind of a warning to people to watch out for, as when you buy a TV on Black Friday, you're not getting the same TVs as you get the rest of the time of the year. They make TVs specifically for that time of the year, where they use like the video processing for your HDMI is not as good, or it has one HDMI port instead of 3 or 4. They use cheaper panels. They do all sorts of things, and kind of that's why you can buy a 4K 65-inch TV for $127.85 or whatever. You can buy this stuff for but TCL has the advantage of they're already lower price point, so they could actually offer the exact same thing and not have to do that,
right? And
literally be like, oh, we'll throw the $250 phone in, and they're just going to charge like $125 more than if you had the TV at $100.
I definitely see them expanding, because now they've shown they're expanding into phones. Expect an expanding into audio or something along those lines. Like, they're not just going to limit it. They're going to be like you said, package deals. So kids in dorm rooms and colleges, you know what I mean? You can do TV, speakers, cell phone, everything for under $1,000. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. And it won't be great. They want to be freaking IKEA without 6,000 pieces.
That's where they can do it, because their stuff is good enough. That's the thing. It's not
it'll get you by for that year or two in college, but
but it's not total. I don't think it's. I haven't. Again, I'm not Canadian, so I didn't get one. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy one of those phones or not. I'm truly tempted to I'm truly tempted to score one, but I would expect that they're pretty good durability wise, and that they probably, their batteries and stuff like that, they'll hang. The problem that I see though is when you talk about, market disruptor, and then they've got their loss leader device out there trying to shift people towards the 500. I think that is the bigger challenge that TCL has. They've manufactured higher tier brands. They've done more quality products on, for other people under other names, et cetera, et cetera. But
because they're getting the premium built into the manufacturing cost.
Well, that's the thing. Can they get out of,
or not BlackBerry? Alcatel and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
they can get away with that because they get paid up front. The same way Samsung doesn't care how many iPhones sell, because they get their $80 or $100 a unit.
But can TCL get out of that ditch where they sell low margin, high volume stuff? I guess is the thing, because are you going to want to buy the premium TV set from the value brand? That's the
here's the thing. LeBron James, as an example, 2 or 3 years ago, right? He was doing the Note campaign, and LeBron was seen everywhere. Even though we know he uses iPhone, but they use arguably the biggest sports star in the world outside like Ronaldo at the time to sell Samsung. Samsung is still, their money is still in volume. Not as much as we in the tech community love the Note, and people that do business love the Note.
It's not what's banking. Yeah, their stock
is not what's making Samsung money. That's just the reality.
The A50, that's the A51.
So TCL is not going to find that there is no marketing. I forget the word, even though I have school in it. There is no marketing area they can go big enough that would take people away from iPhone to go to TCL. It's not going to happen on the premium account. So they have no possible way to get away from volume. Any company that's not Apple has to sell volume.
Yeah.
Apple can sell services. They have all of the movie stars. They have all the marketing in the world. So when you're competing now, you're only hoping to be Honda. You're not going to be Mercedes.
That's true.
Well, then there's the thing about that though, is if you look at like the number of devices that Apple sells, it's not like they don't sell a lot. Like I know last year it was like 268 million iPhones or something like that. And it's like, so it's not like they don't sell a, but you're right. Samsung by comparison, like their top selling phones are like last year was the the A10e, the A20 and the A50. This year, the first quarter of this year, top selling, the A51. So it's like the $100 to $350 phone.
Though the difference is going to be for Samsung only, the Fold 2 is going to destroy. I'm telling you right now. When they come out with the better
especially
glass, when the Fold 2 comes out, if they can get the glass they put on the Z Flip, if they can trade out the glass for that plastic and add a stylus to it, that will be a premium device that will bring now you're talking about basically a tablet and a phone, a stylus, DeX, whether you hate it or not, those capabilities going to be built in. Then now you have a contender that can get the highest dollar. But other than that, no one's selling anything but volume against Apple, at least in the United States. Not happening.
The other thing with that too is if so far what we've seen is correct, they're going to be doing a kind of light version of the Fold. And that will be right around like, but from what I'm seeing is they're taking the display of the Flip. So you have a smaller display on the outside that's not like the size of the regular Fold. And then you open it up. So it's like they took the Flip outer part and combined it with the innards of the original Fold so that they can keep that cost down. And actually for me, that's probably what I would buy, because in all honesty,
it will also be smaller.
And it would be smaller, but in all honesty, I'm probably gonna open it up anyways most of the time. I think most people end up doing that, unless you have super tiny hands to type on the outer display. That I just feel like that's the point. And even Gary pointed out he bought it so he can do all of his spreadsheets and stuff, but he opens it up and uses it. So if you can get like, oh, I have a phone call coming in, and you can see it on the outside, and you can swipe on the little thing one way to answer, the other way to decline it. You can get your time. You can see your basic information.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, you're just going to, if you're full on use it, you take it out and you open it up. I think that's brilliant, especially if they can basically offer it at almost, was that like 60% of what the original Fold cost was?
Yeah, we'll see how that happens.
So Carl says, and I close up here, guys. Carl asks, is COVID tracing through smartphones? Am I going to have to get rid of my smartphone? So COVID tracing is going to be an opt-in application for now. So there's no way possible that your smartphone can detect COVID clearly. So it's going to be self-identifiable, and really they call it trace tracking and stuff, but really what it is social tracking. It's who do you hang out with and where have you been? So yeah. Big Brother is going to be at work here, but it should be voluntary, because no one's going to know where you are unless you sign up for the app. So
yeah.
And I'm not here to tell you whether that's good, bad, or indifferent, but it's basically social tracking. So when you sign up for Trace, you're going to say, I'm doing my part. And I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying it's going to track everybody who come anywhere near. And I'm sure some of the apps use Wi-Fi. So if you log into Wi-Fi at a public place, I'm sure some of the apps are going to use NFC, and they'll use your home ISP to track you if you sign up. I'm sure that's all in the TOS.
So I'm running iOS 13.5 beta right now, and if you go into your settings and just type in COV in the search, you get COVID-19 exposure notifications as one of the things you can turn on. So that's what they're bringing. That's what 13.5 basically that update is.
Apple,
and then Android will push out whatever, depending on what. Actually, Samsung and Google and the different companies will push out their perspective, and you probably won't even notice it. Other than it will be a setting that will probably pop up at some point, be like, "Oh, we're using your location." And by the way, do you want to enable? They'll throw it in there somehow.
The one thing though that's here is so like when you check in on places right now for whatever applications to get your location clearly, but from what I'm hearing, this uses a little bit more in depth than that. So it knows what other phones were in that room. So it knows what other phone numbers and who owns those phones that were in that room. So not only does it have your profiles, your Gmail, your Apple login. So if you log in with Apple, you log in with anything Google, and you're in the room and you're opt in, it's going to automatically associate you with every single person in that room, which may or may not. I'm not here to tell you good or bad if trace tracking is good. What I will tell you is just consider the fact that there's going to be unintended consequences from that, because now people forever, when that information goes into a central hub, and there is, will be utilized to say this person associates with them. So you go to Home Depot and pick up a set of nails for your fence. Now everybody in that Home Depot, you are now forever associated with, oops, there goes my microphone. You are now forever associated in some capacity for the rest of your life with a government search. Just saying that. Not saying it's bad, but that's what's happening.
They're already doing this. I mean, when you have Google Maps on your phone and they can say, well, there's traffic slowdown or there's an accident, is because you're giving permission and that's going to Google, and Google uses that information. So they're already doing it, just not for COVID. Yeah. They're already doing it for accident tracking and all sorts of other congestion and things like that. So,
all right, that'll close us down. Chris, why don't you give a shout out to our chat?
All right. Look at the chat. Thank you very much to Tech Love and Mama, Jason C, K Hodge, Carl, Gary, Dr. Donna, Jake, Sneed, BV, Baby Videos, Check the Tech, and Technically Lurking. Thank you all for coming out, as well as the replay crew too. So if you're watching this in replay and you made it this far, type Pelican in the comment so we know that you're watching it. Okay.
Your safe words. I don't need to know your safe words. Also, a big shout out to El Jefe.
Yes.
Jeff, happy birthday, brother. I think you're 38, right? Anyways,
21.
Happy birthday out there in the Yay area. He's getting high feet tonight by himself in quarantine. But happy birthday, big bro. Appreciate you. Everything you do for us too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you want to go wish him a happy birthday,
go find him. And thank you to him for joining me last week. And thank you to Travis, who will be on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. PST, for about a half an hour for my interview series. Chris, will
be there? Is that what you're going to ask? Will I be there? Yes, I will absolutely be there. I'm looking forward to it. I just wanted to throw out one more question for the chat. I know they never have anything for us, but how did you guys all like the Monday night thing? That's what I want to know, because I feel like we had
it's hard because people are like, normally get to Friday and people are just like, yeah, I want my drink and I'm gonna go watch these idiots. But Monday people are like very coherent and they're sharp. So let's see if we're interesting when people aren't drunk. I don't know.
Tech Love Mom put up a new video. She says she'd love to hear your opinion. So I'm calling it out here. I actually didn't. I thought I turned on notifications for. So
it's over. I will comment on it.
Yep.
You'll see a comment from me about like 30 seconds after whatever the length of that video is.
So. Incoming.
Yeah. But so we'll be back. So I know, Mike, you've got some fire dropping this week. Mr. Pepper, aka Michael Pepper, not to be confused with Mike Tech 702. I know you've got some live stuff with Travis, and I'm super looking forward to that one, because that is going to be very interesting.
I met Travis. He's a good dude, and he has a lot of knowledge to drop too.
He does.
So hit him deep.
Yes. And then, so I guess the way that this works now, you will all probably see me once before next week at least, which is the Sunday at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific thing, which now seems so far away. I'm gonna have to make sure I don't wake up on like Wednesday and start doing a live stream. You know, in the middle.
Spam Viper. He's on YouTube.
Well, I'm gonna have to interrupt one of his streams
By
somewhere.
the way, when I say that, I love Viper. He's my boy. But
He's great.
Viper doing his thing right now.
Holy
He
crap,
is.
man! He is.
He's
Come
on
on,
3
Viper.
times today.
Dude, I can't even talk to you guys for more than this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Dude is putting in work. Putting in work for sure.
Oh, by the way, I might be on Viper at some point soon. We'll see. More to come on that. I'll shout it out. We'll have another show before I shout that one out.
All right. No super chats for you. Just Cash App.
Just cash up.
only.
I will
Catch me outside.
and I will most likely also probably be on Thursday. Flying solo because I haven't done a solo stream in a while. And people have been asking me.
On
So
YouTube or on OnlyFans?
on YouTube.
Bathroom.
So
Right.
Mike, you've got stuff going on. We've all
I'm
got stuff.
dropping 2 videos this week. I'm really trying to get my production up. I switched to an entire new system. I'm loving LumaFusion. It's awesome, but I'm still a novice. So I'm split between, production and making the video. My videos will get much better. But yeah, I'm dropping 2 this week. You guys got your lives, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome.
I'll have a couple dropping this week too. Basically, some pro Apple stuff that might not be just pro Apple. It might also be con Apple. But with that said, thank you everybody for coming on through. Thank you for everybody who watches this afterwards, and we will see you all either at the next lives that we're doing or next week, Monday, same time, same place. Good conversation. Good night, everybody, and God bless.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks,
Thank
y'all.
you.